machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content, like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live. Thanks to our sponsors, Everards, Barlow Blinds, Pukka Pies, Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hollogram, Take Me, Newby Co, and the Foxes Arms and Rainbows. We are live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to Leicester Fan TV for tonight's Fox's Focus Fan Zone show. It is Thursday, of course. We've got a lot to talk about. Leicester obviously turned around their poor form with a win against Sunderland the other night. We obviously have Hull coming up this weekend, which is going to be a tough game. They beat us earlier in the season, of course. And today we've had even more financial fair play news. More of it. Crazy what's going on. So get your comments in, drop us a like, hit subscribe, and also if you can do me a favour and just comment, let me know if my mic volume is okay, if you can hear me all right. But yeah, much appreciated. Let's get into the show. So, as I said, welcome to the Fox's Focus show. Let's get some comments up on screen. Let's see who's here. If you are here, drop me a comment. Let me know. Let me know that you're here, basically. And Dawn is here. Hi, Dawn. Hi, all. Thanks, Dawn, watching every week. Much appreciated. Same with Scooby. Well, everyone who's commented is here every week. So, thank you very much. Joe Wright says, Evelyn Locks, just feeling a bit deflated after today. Yeah, we'll get into it. I've just noticed I've got a bit of food. Oh dear, is that ketchup? Sorry, guys. Maz says, evening, it's okay. Oh, the mic, thank you very much. Scooby says, give Man City a miss and have a pop. Give Man City a miss and have a pop at us and lost. Well, no one's lost just yet, Scooby, because today we obviously got the news that not just the EFL are trying to give us a points, maybe a points deduction, but also the Premier League. The Premier League, as early as next week, might charge us with breaching financial fair play for our last season in the Premier League. Apparently, we exceeded the loss, the maximum loss that you're allowed to make of £105 million. Apparently, we exceeded that, and we still got relegated. Not a good look. Mark says, volume all good. Cheers, Mark. David Fallows is here. Now we know why the Sensi deal didn't go through. They must have known FFP was coming. Well, yeah, I think it's definitely the reason why the whole Sensi deal was so confusing, why we were asking for like a loan deal and then pay them at the end of the year, and then it changed to 500 grand and then a loan. It was confusing, and it probably makes sense now why. Cheers, Joe, much appreciated. Sorry, meant EFL loss. Yes, Scooby, the EFL didn't quite see it through, but it could still come to bite us on the arse, so let's not get too excited. Even Lock, seems like everyone is going for our throats at the moment, Chris. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it does feel a little bit like they're out to get us, right? Maybe try to destabilize us, because even if the whole financial fair play thing, it's proven that we haven't breached it, right? Let's just say that we haven't. All this news and stuff there's still a risk that this destabilizes it's definitely destabilizes the fan base. We can agree on that. But there is a chance it destabilizes the team and the manager and all of this stuff. Because you've got to think, because from a player's point of view, even though they probably don't care about the behind-the-scenes running of the club too much, they've got to think, like, all right, let's say we get promoted next year. First of all, are we going to be able to sign anyone to bolster our squad? And secondly, are we starting on -6 points? -10 maybe? That goes through their minds. Rob Dorset, the guy from Sky, who always, he's done our stuff for years. He also said that there is a chance that the punishment can be seen in the Championship too. Even though it's the Premier League rules that we've allegedly broken, there is still a chance that if both leagues agree, they can punish us in this league. Now, I don't think it's this season. I think they did confirm in the end that we wouldn't get a points deduction this year, so we can chill out for a sec. But if let's say we are found guilty and we are getting points deducted, we either definitely get it next year in the Premier League, or there's a chance if we don't get promoted this year, there's a chance that if both leagues agree, we might get it next year. And 6 points, 10 points, whatever it is, that's a big hit to take when you're trying to get promoted, because we know how close the Championship is. I think 6 points in the Premier League, starting -6 in the Premier League to try and survive is much easier than starting 6 points, -6 points in the Championship trying to get promoted. If that makes sense, if you get what I'm trying to say. Let's get some comments up. Time up, Rudkin. You can collect your P45 in the morning. Well, I think people have been calling for John Rudkin's head for years. I want to say years, and it hasn't happened. And to be honest with you, I'm starting to feel like it might happen soon. I think up until this week, I would have said Top clearly trusts Rudkin, doesn't want to get rid of him. Probably a good friend, you'd imagine now, after all the years of working together. But now I think the fans will demand someone is held accountable for what's happened. And if Rudkin is the only man I can think of who would be held accountable for giving out inflated wages and whatever else. So, look, Harry Winks has been one of our best players this season, but we gave Harry Winks a £90,000 a week contract. Did you know that? £90,000 contract we gave Harry Winks in the Championship earlier this summer, earlier in the season. That's true. 90k. For me, that's reckless. It's irresponsible, because you're then committed to that 90k a week for the next 4 years. And if things don't go well this season and we do stay in the Championship, you're now a Championship club. A proper, people say Leicester are a Premier League club just spending a year. If 2 years in the Championship, that means you're a Championship club, right? Trust me. Then you're a Championship club paying someone 90 grand a week, And it was probably Rudkin who agreed that deal for Winks earlier this year. Sam is here. Just shows you the mess we were in. Surely the club knew financially we shouldn't have signed Christian and Suter. Well, I think Christensen and Suter were Rodgers' efforts to stay up last season. And well, we all know how that turned out. So it's all hindsight, But yeah, club's a mess. Rudkin out. Said it for years. We need Rudkin out the door. Easy B says Leicester have to win on Saturday or they could find themselves in third place going into the international break. Isn't that a scary thought, Easy? Callum Barnes says Rudkin is I won't put the comment up on screen, but you can kind of guess what he said. And another one there from Callum. I won't put that one up either, Callum, mate, but yeah. We haven't breached anything yet. It doesn't come into play until June, Darren. That's the EFL one, Darren. That's the EFL one. The Premier League one suggests we broke financial fair play whilst we were in the Premier League. If that's the case and it's proven, then we will be given a points deduction, whether it's next season in the Premier League when we're there, or if we don't go up, it could be for us in the Championship. Tomahawk, thanks for watching. You're here every single week. Much appreciated. Louis says, been saying for years, Rudkin is best mates with the owners, no accountability. John Rudkin obviously runs the King Power Racing as well, right? I think he spends a bit too much time on that. He's clearly not focusing on the football. Dawn says crazy wages doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it is. Even for Harry Winks, who's been one of our best players this season. Even Harry Winks, who's been one of our best players this season, 90 grand a week in the Championship is ludicrous. Ludicrous. Ian says, and it's always good to get a opposing opinion, Rudkin is not the club accountant. All transfers and contracts go to legal services before they are agreed. Yes, Ian. But there's just so many different types. Look, John Rudkin is the director of football. Somebody find the definition of director of football, right, and put it in the chat, because I'm pretty sure, although yes, like accountants and all of this legal and all of this is taken into account when signing players, when giving contracts out to players, all of that. But I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, John Rudkin is the man who actually negotiates a lot of these contracts. I'm 99% sure that's true. So if that's the case, why are you even taking the option of 90 grand a week for Harry Winks in the Championship? Why even taking that to the accountants and to legal services to get approved? You know, if that even is the process, you know. Albrighton, we offered him a contract. I don't know what his wages are. I don't disagree with signing Albrighton on a contract, but what was the money involved? I guarantee it was probably quite a hefty amount. Jamie Vardy was obviously given new contracts, and again, the GOAT, the Leicester City GOAT, and he's, you know, probably deserving of it, but what's he on now? 130 grand a week? You know, we're paying wages for players as if we're still a European club. Like, we are paying European wages, and I even want to say we're probably paying Champions League wages, to be fair. So, how's the HMS League going, mate? Patrick, how is HMS Pistol League going? I'll tell you how it's going, mate. Sorry, guys. One sec. I'll tell you how the HMS Pistol League going, mate. We've just had a very tough last few games, really. That's all I can say. Yeah, things have gone south quickly, but we can still turn it around for sure. Remember, guys, Rudkin signed off on the 12 million agreement with Liverpool all those years ago. You're going to have to remind me on what that agreement was, because that's not ringing any bells. If we didn't pay the amount the players wanted, they wouldn't have come. It's a fair point. We wouldn't have been able to sign these players. And it all ties in as well with the whole Rodgers problem. I mean, look, Leicester had our renowned scouting department, you know, like from the Premier League. Oh, yeah, Danny Ward-Fee from Liverpool. Yes, of course. We had this renowned, you know, world-renowned scouting department at Leicester City, where we brought in the early days, you look at Riyad Mahrez, obviously Jamie Vardy, Kante, you know, that season especially. And then, you know, even after that, under like Puel and stuff, you had James Maddison, Ricardo Pereira. Okay, these players, great players who, you know, I mean, Ricardo's still in the team now. Maddison, we got 40 million for. Harry Maguire, you know, obviously he's a meme and he's a laugh, but, you know, back then, obviously we turned however much was it, 15 million or something into 80. So Fofana, right? So we had this scouting department, and Brendan Rodgers obviously flipped it upside down, and John Rudkin, the director of football, by the way, I feel sometimes I need to remind people he is the director of football. He has a lot of say. He allowed Brendan Rodgers basically to take over the transfer department, take over the scouting department, sign the players he wanted, rather than the players that our scouting department recommended. And that's where you see players like Patson Daka come in. That's where you see players like Boubacar Samari. That's where you see players like Christiansen, like Harry Suter, like Tete, right? This is what happens when you have a great scouting department and then you give all responsibility over to the manager, who has, and a manager, by the way, who has his own distinct style of play, if you like. When he goes, what happens? Well, I'll tell you what happens. Victor Christiansen, who is a fullback, has to go on loan the season after because our new manager doesn't play with fullbacks. That's what happens. But that side of things, the signings, Rodgers, yes, Rodgers hand selected him. It's his fault. However, Jon Rudkin is above. Right, let me try and put some out. Like, because I have to dumb stuff down for myself sometimes. If Patson Daka misses a sitter, that's his fault. If Enzo Maresca then goes and carries on playing Patson Daka, and he carries on missing sitters, that's Maresca's fault because he keeps picking him, right? Just like if a manager's performance is bad, it's then on the guy above him, Jon Rudkin, to change it, to sack him. And if Jon Rudkin isn't performing well, it's on top. You know, it's a chain. And Jon Rudkin failed to sack Brendan Rodgers. That is literally what happened. And that is why we are in the Championship right now. That is literally the reason we are in the Championship right now. If Brendan Rodgers went earlier in the season, we would have enough time to have a manager come in who wasn't Dean Smith, a better manager. You know, Graham Potter was available. Anyway, that's a story for another day. So, yes, people will say it's all Rodgers' fault, and it is partly Rodgers' fault, and it's partly the players' fault. It is also quite heavily Jon Rudkin's fault, and it is also quite heavily Top's fault, because Top keeps trusting a man that keeps making bad decisions. Anyway, so let's leave that rant there. There's a load of people watching. If you can drop us a like, drop a comment, hit subscribe, it'd be much appreciated. Let's get a few more comments up about this whole FFP situation, and we shall move on to Hull, the Hull game this weekend. Missing out on Champions League 2 years running and COVID closing Thailand airport has killed the club financially. Yeah, I don't think the COVID thing in terms of the airports have affected FFP, mate. I think they've affected... COVID affected, obviously, FFP in terms of lack of gate money. But we're past that now. I think that's not to do with this whole FFP problem anyway. But missing out on Champions League, obviously, if we were in the Champions League in European, we'd be earning more money, blah, 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 and we'd be, because we didn't have the European money last year, which is obviously a big drop. So that didn't help FFP. If Vardy's on 130k a week, there is no way he'll be offered a new contract or even reduced terms. Yeah, I think the only way Jamie Vardy stays past this summer is if he takes a 100 grand pay cut or something like that. And I don't want him to. You know, he can go over to the MLS or something and he can make some money there, which is, we'll clap him off. Off you go, mate. We'll have his statue for you in a couple of years, and that's it. Yes, Stephen. Funny enough, we have seen the news. Yeah, we've just been speaking about it for the last 20 minutes. So if you want to, mate, just rewind and you'll catch it all. I wouldn't blame Rodgers because we all know he wanted to sack himself. He just didn't want to leave. Yeah, I mean, Rodgers isn't going to sack himself, right? And he's not going to quit when he can get a massive payoff. You know, would any of you guys refuse? Would any of you guys give up £12 million or £7 million, whatever it was, to get sacked? You know, would you quit and lose 7 million, or would you just wait to be sacked? I think we'd all probably wait to be sacked and get 7 million quid in the bank. The director of football normally works closely with the manager, but has more strategic role overseeing the running of medical and physiotherapy departments, the scouting network, transfer dealings, and data analysis of teams. Yeah, I mean, Jon Rudkin, what is his CV, guys? I mean, I think his CV might be academy coach. I think he was loans manager at one point. I think he was academy, I'm losing the word in now. The academy, I don't know. Anyway, the academy kids who they speak to. He's like the football version of Walter Mitty, I think. Is it Walter Mitty, the guy who had like loads of jobs and wasn't actually an expert in anything? I think that's Rudkin, to be honest with you guys. I think that is Rudkin. I thought we weren't breaking the rules. That is the EFL. We haven't broken any rules in the EFL yet. Apparently, we have broken the Premier League rules. We'll have to wait and see. Apparently, next week we'll hear something. Why are you so dark under the stairs? Vardy on 80k. I think he's on more, Callum. I really do. Top went for this showpiece training ground instead of extending the ground extra sponsorship. Yeah, that's true. We would have made more money if we... And I think the whole training ground situation, I could speak about that for hours. I think that's also contributed to the big mentality problem at the club. We've lost that family feeling, underdog feeling. You know, we used to have a training ground that was, you know, I don't want to say shite, but compared to the big dogs, it was crap, right? The training ground. And now we're in a training ground that is equal to, if not better than some of the top clubs. I think we've lost a bit of ourselves in that move to the Seagrave, I think. But, I mean, I described it earlier this week as a 5-star, fully catered gym and spa complex. A boys' day out, I think I described it. Every time I see any social media content from around Seagrave, it's either the swimming pool, playing bloody water polo or on inflatables, or they're playing basketball or darts. And then when they're all in training, they all look miserable. It's like, oh, I don't know. Does this mean next year we have a chance of starting? Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. We need to get there first, though, mate. We need to get there first. £105 million in loss over 3 seasons is allowed in the Premier League. If we go up, who is to say we won't be below that with promotion money and possible sale? Because that would then be earnings from the Championship. It's all confusing when you're relegated, you know. It's all split between the two leagues. So the EFL rules. This is why we've apparently had a loophole, right? We've apparently exploited a loophole by saying, well, no, we don't actually need to adhere to the EFL rules this season because we've only just been relegated from the Premier League. So that's the loophole. I mean, they're calling it a loophole. It's like it's called relegation, right? I think the club would have rather have, you know, been in the Premier League and not exploited this loophole. But anyway... yeah, Dawn says, Jack of all trades, master of none. This confirms next next year we have a relegation battle incoming. We need to pull the greatest escape. Well, we'll see. I personally don't think turning over minus 6 points in the Premier League is that hard of a job to do. Although... it would have been much better if we had Luton, Sheffield United and Burnley in our division, but they probably won't be there next year. So, Stephen says, I think John Rudkin has to go. Kunal says, if we do get point deductions, do you think we will stay up? Yeah, it's going to be tough because we don't know if we're going to be able to sign any players either. That's the next problem. We have the points deduction to worry about. And we also have the prospect of not being able to sign anybody good enough to keep us up in the Premier League next year. I don't know how to say this, guys, but for a team that are top of the Premier League for a team that are top of the Championship and looking like we may return to the Premier League in the next couple of months, I'm really bloody deflated. Is anybody else? Like, I just can't really be bothered at the minute to, like... It's just destabilising. It feels like Leicester City. I mean, it just feels so Leicester that something like this will come up in March of a promotion campaign. I think all the players can really do, because obviously you've got rival fans giving us stick online. I think all the players can do now really, and Enzo is basically say, here, look, all the noise outside the club, forget it. That's what we can do. and go and win every game this season and worry about the points deduction, possible points deduction, and transfers and all of that in the summer. I think us fans really, we just knew. I mean, I know we had a few months of it when we were clear of the top of the league by 13 points or whatever, but it's just draining now, isn't it? It's just deflated, and I just want us to get the promotion and then worry about whatever. Yeah. Nick is here. Even Nick, mate. Guys, by the way, I'm going to put a link up in the chat. If you want to come and have a chat for the last 5 minutes or so, please do so. This is what it looks like. Click that link. I know Nick will jump on if he is free. Anybody else, click it too. Nick says, I do not get why people are surprised by all this. I've been saying the last 3 windows FFP is an issue. I blame Rudkin, Whelan and BR. I blame Rudkin, Whelan and Top for the FFP. To be honest, mate, I don't blame Rodgers for the FFP because you've got people above Rodgers who can say no, and they didn't. You know, they didn't. So here's one thing I will agree on massively, by the way, guys, is we don't go up this season with stuff. Next season, we will be bottom half. I really couldn't agree with this more. We're going to obviously lose Vardy, Albrighton, Iheanacho, Ndidi, Vestergaard to free contracts, free transfers. And then you look at some other players. Fast won't stay around. Dewsbury Hall won't stay around. I want to say Hermanson won't stay around. I want to say Mavididi probably won't stay around. I want to say, well, Fatabu won't sign permanently. I want to say Winks won't stay around. You know, the club will probably make a lot of money in transfers, incoming transfers. And we may have enough for a rebuild, but then it's, you know, Enzo would leave, and anyway, and we'd probably be left with Frank Lampard maybe in charge, something like that. We are capable of winning every game. Don't worry. Yeah, we are, Tito Blue. I mean, can you believe the difference in mood around the place since 3 months ago? I mean, we were on the top of the moon. We were buzzing. There was nothing negative around the club whatsoever. And then there was that thing in January where Keane and Dewsbury Hall was rumoured to leave, and then there was a little bit of worry and a little bit of... And then in the last 2 weeks alone, everything just seems to have gone to shit. We seem to have just... The club has gone from literally 100 to 0 in the space of 3 weeks, I think. And it's mad, and football's a humbler, and these things happen. It just feels like they happen more to Leicester than anybody else, but... Hey ho, here she goes. Anyway, Scott says, I'm sure Leeds and Southampton must be in a similar conditions to us with FFP. They're probably not spending the money we are, Scott. They loaned out a load of players this summer. Leeds did. They've probably got split wages. I would put money on Leeds and Southampton being nowhere near our wage bill. Nowhere near. And again, going back to it, Harry Winks, a player we signed this season, 90 grand a week in the Championship. What? This could go the other way as well, Locks. It could bring everyone together. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, mate. I said that a second ago, Nick. The players could go bam, bam, bam. The players could go, and Enzo could go bam, bam. Goals, goals, goals. Wins, wins, wins. Promotion, done. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Tito says we'll find a way. Viva Bielsa. Leeds fan, guys. Leeds fans, stay quiet. No, I know there's a couple of Leeds fans in the chat. Nice to have you guys here. Thanks for watching. I know Just Joe is live and you're over here with me instead, so that's very nice of you. All players took 50% wage reduction. Nice. Yeah, ours didn't, so that's why we're in the shit. Leeds players, there we go. Yeah, 60%. Tom Hawkeye says, I bet Man City and Chelsea will get away with their charges. Of course they will, Tom Hawkeye, because they are the big dogs. That's what FFP is here for. The FFP is in place to make them richer and us poorer. That's how it works. That's why Newcastle can't get near first place, because they can't spend any bloody money. They had to settle for Harvey Barnes in the summer, and he's been crap. So... yeah, if you remember, Locke, something similar happened when we went up with Pearson. EFL tried to screw us in the Prem. I remember something, mate. Yeah, I don't think it's as serious as this, but we'll have to see. Look, the Championship would love us to stay down for another year because it's a story for them. It means that they'll have better players in the league. When I say better, we'll probably be left with Hamza Chowdhury and Connor Cody. He'll probably stay around, and I can't even think of any others, mate, to be fair. But they probably want us to stay, mate. It's more money and more whatever for them, but yeah. Well, this season end is frustrating, as we can see, but I hope the boys just brag their frustrations out and score loads of goals. Tito says, I don't think anyone else will be punished now. Just wanted to look like they could do their own homework. No, mate, you're mistaken. It's the Premier League now. So the EFL stuff is done for now. It's the Premier League stuff, mate, which is threatening us now. So Danny Ward will stay locked. Thank you for reminding me of that. Danny Ward. Nick. Andy Meadows says, surely the powers to be would have known we are never going to comply with FFP. When you're talking about the powers that be, are you talking about the Premier League, EFL, all that, or are you talking about our powers? Because if you're talking about our powers, as in Top and Rodkin, then it wouldn't surprise me if they had no idea, but they probably did have an idea and still didn't do anything about it. So, you know. Do I think Enzo will leave? Enzo Maresca. If Leicester City don't get promoted this season, Enzo Maresca will be sacked. He will be sacked. If Leicester City do get promoted and we tell Enzo that we haven't got any money to spend because of FFP, he will leave. He will resign. And I don't blame him. Okay? Some people will say, Enzo, you're a coward, whatever. I don't look at it that way. He needs a better squad to compete in the Premier League. If we don't give him it and we can't give him it, he will leave. And I don't blame him. Don't blame him. Surely this has to be the end of Rodkin. Surely is the main word there. Top two busy racing horses. Rodgers' payoff didn't help. Louise would much rather get a point deduction than sell all these players. Sensi not happening then. Well, God knows. I think he's in theatre at the minute, having a bloody plate removed from his bloody ankle, mate. So if we get Gerrard or Lampard, we are done. Or Rooney, even worse. Yeah, let's not think about it yet, mate. We've got lots of time to talk about it. Lots of time. But anyway, guys, very quick one. We spent a lot of time ranting and not a lot of time predicting and previewing Hull. I want to know in the comments there's 161 people watching, who is thinking we will win this weekend. Will we beat Hull? We lost 1-0 to them. It was our first defeat of the season. Earlier on, we lost at home. This time, we go away to the KC Stadium now, I believe it's called. And we need a win, basically. You know, if we lose, then there is a chance that we go into the international break behind in third place, maybe second on goal difference. But yeah, so let me know if you think we will win. Give me your score predictions. Let me know who you think will score for Leicester City, if you think we'll score at all. Will we turn around? Will we continue this turnaround in poor form after the win at Sunderland? Will we continue it? Will we get back on a bit of form and go for the title, mate? I mean, I say go for the title, we should already have it by now, but you know what I mean. 165 people watching. It's very easy and it takes 2 seconds. If you can please just drop a like on the video, it'd be much appreciated. Hit subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, head over to YouTube and do that. It would be much appreciated. By the way, guys, as well, who is going to this event next Friday, the 15th, at the Morningside Arena, currently known as, there's a different name for it, but I don't know because I don't follow basketball. Who's going? Let me know if you're going. Let me know if you're going to that event. I will be there. Phil will be there. Reedy will be there, so let us know if you're going to be there, and if you are, I will see you there, and I will, I was going to say I'll buy you a beer, you can buy me a beer, guys, but yeah, anyway, we're coming to the end of the video. Andy Medhurst, he won the free tickets, nice one, Andy. I'll see you there, mate, although I don't know what you look like, because you haven't got a profile picture, so Phil, I'm sure Phil knows what you look like, so he'll point you out to me. Keep getting your score predictions in, guys. Keep getting your goal scorer predictions as well. Reedy has no clue who those legends are. Lol. Yeah, he probably doesn't. I think he once did say who he did. I'm sure he asked once who Jerry Taggart. No, maybe I'm making that up. He did ask someone. Anyway, do I know any of these? Well, of course I know of all of them, but I did never watch some of them. Muzzy is my favourite Leicester player that I never actually saw. Just watching clips and stuff. I love, I'd love a Muzzy in our team right now. In that advanced 8 role, maybe, he'd fit in well there. And then Jerry Taggart and Matt Elliott and Steve Walsh, imagine them in the back three. Don't think it would quite suit Enzo's style, but there we go. Heskey with the pace up front. Ooh, yeah, bleeder. What a team. What players they were. Anyway. Reedy wants Dackett on that list. Yeah. Hull will be pushing like the last time. 2-2, hopefully. Hopefully 2-2. Maybe not hopefully a win. Maybe. I don't know. You tell me. 1-0 Leicester. Vardy again. Saw Muzzy walking his dog in Kibworth this morning. Yes, he does live in Kibworth, doesn't he? I have heard that before. They all live locally. They all love Leicester and all that. So, I grew up with all those. I grew up with all those. Was at Wembley for all the playoffs and League Cup. Great times. Love Sir Martin O'Neill. Well, is that right, Nick, that Martin O'Neill, when he first joined Leicester, he was given a bit of stick by fans and the way that he played football, and obviously look what he turned out to be. So that's what I was saying earlier in the season about Enzo. Just give it a bit of time, let him find his way, let him build his team. And I do hope he takes us up this season, because if he doesn't, I think he will be sacked. So that would be a shame. The only list Dackle will be on is the transfer list. Head up, Locks. We need your bullish attitude that you showed all season. I know, Tito. I know. We went on. Look, it's hard at the minute, isn't it? It's deflating with everything that's going on. I try to ignore some of it, but it's hard. Of course, it's hard to ignore it. We all love Leicester. We all see a bit of news like Leicester breaking FFP, point seductions, all this clickbait stuff, and we get worried and we panic. And when we lose 3 games in a row, we panic, and I think that's normal. But I do believe we can still win the title. I do believe it. I don't believe we'll win. I don't believe we'll break the points record, because we have to win every single game, by the way. So I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think we can still win the league. And trust me, if we win on this weekend against Hull and we put in a good performance, I'll be back here next Thursday saying we are pissing the league again. We're pissing the league. Best team this league's ever seen. I'll be saying it. Don't worry. But yeah, anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Much appreciated. Again, 150 people. Drop a like, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment as well. Much appreciated. I hope you all have a lovely Friday, a lovely weekend. Hopefully Leicester win on Saturday. And, as always, come on, you foxes.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors: Everards, Barlow Blinds, Pukka Pies, Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hollogram, Take Me, Newby Co, The Fox's Arms and Rainbows. Run by the fans, for the fans. Follow us on socials at Leicester Fan TV and visit LeicesterFanTV.com for all the latest news, views and videos.